Well, I'm getting ready to do a test install of our new refrigerator that was sent to us from a company in Italy. And this is it, guys. This is the cooling plate, this is the control unit, and this is the little water pump that pumps seawater through this cooling plate. Technically, it's supposed to drop the temperature of seawater by 25 degrees Celsius. And right now, here in the Dominican Republic, the seawater is 25 degrees Celsius. So this should bring our cooler down to 0, which would be really nice. Before we rebuild our entire icebox and make it better, I'm going to do a test install by installing this in our old, just normal cooler that we got from Walmart or something like that. Just to make sure everything works, and then when we get to Puerto Rico, I'll be able to get the supplies I need so that we can actually build our old icebox into something that's a little bit better insulated and reinstall this thing. But for now, I'm going to try it out, see what happens. Kind of excited. This is neat. It's very small. It's very light. Brought this back in our check bag from Syracuse.
This little cooler has served us well for many, many years, but now it was time to give it a new life as a mini refrigerator. It was pretty easy to install and hook up all the wiring and plumbing. Now all we had to do is sit back and wait. After a long journey and a lot of boat work, it was time to relax and enjoy the sunset with a good cold drink. Yep, that's right, the temporary fridge test works beautifully.
Well guys, today is a miserably cold and rainy and gray, overcast sort of day. So it seems like the perfect day to stay inside and do some inside boat work projects. Earlier we installed our KECO cooler in an old cooler that we got from Walmart or something, and it's worked great for the past couple of weeks, but it's kind of small and it's a little bit inefficient because it doesn't have very thick insulation. So while we were in San Juan, we bought the insulation and some PVC board and some spray foam and stuff we needed to build a bigger icebox. And today I'm gonna start tackling that project.
While the epoxy was curing and the paint was drying, all that was left to do was move the KECO cooler from the old box to the new one. We decided to run the drain line to our bilge drain rather than the sink to eliminate the trickling water sound from echoing back up the sink drain. I also plumbed everything below the water line to ensure the pump wouldn't lose suction when healed over. After the plumbing was done, it was time to install the actual cold plate in the new icebox.
Getting ready to reinstall our KECO cooler in our new icebox now that it's done. But before I do, I want to just show you guys the components that it's made up of. This is kind of like the heart of the thing. It's got a fan and a cooling plate and then a Peltier device back here. You just wire it up. It comes with pretty good directions. And then this is where the salt water comes in and out. Doesn't really matter which one you hook up to what. Pretty straightforward. You just have to cut a hole about this size in the back of the icebox. And then this is the control box. This is like the brain of it. Also pretty straightforward, just has an on-off switch and then this burst switch, which goes into like boost mode, I guess, where it draws a lot more power but it sucks a lot more heat out a lot faster. So if you just load the fridge full of a whole bunch of groceries, hold and press that and it'll turn into burst mode. It only runs for maybe a minute or two and then it goes back to cycling normal mode. So yeah, you just wire all these wires into the back of this thing, and that's all the wiring you need to do. I won't get into the details, the instructions are pretty good. And then this is the little water pump that sucks seawater through the back of the cooling plate. It's pretty quiet. We're going to remount it onto like a rubber pad to help make it even more quiet, but as long as the through hull's not clogged and it doesn't have to like suck really hard, it's really quiet. We're also going to have a water filter between the raw water strainer and the pump. Hopefully it'll help keep some crud out of the pump and maybe keep it lasting a bit longer. I'm not sure if it's necessary, but we're going to do it anyway. And that's it. Now I just have to replumb all that stuff back in the new icebox. Is reinstalled, and now it's just time to test it and make sure everything works before we button everything up and seal it all up and finalize the installation. Our green light here means normal mode. That's just to show that the power's on. This blue light shows if the condenser gets below 0 and shuts off. This red light shows if it gets too hot, like it's not getting water, which it might because I'm not sure I have the water turned on. And this button's burst mode. Test to make sure we're getting water. Yep, getting water. Open up this one. Water's coming through here. Like a little jump going through there. Yeah, that's getting cold. Definitely. Cool. Looks like everything is back to working again. So now I just have to seal up the top of this with some more expanding foam and screw everything down, and then we'll have an icebox.
So we've been using our new icebox for about a week now, and so far it works like a charm.
So the cooler on normal mode draws 38 watts according to our charge controller. And that's on normal mode. When you hit the burst button, it draws a little bit more. It draws 140 watts, but that's only for a couple of minutes, and it just sucks a lot more heat out a lot more quickly.
One aspect that I do love about our icebox though is how silent it is, and I'm very sensitive to noise. It's weird because it's weird that I'm on a sailboat, and now for the big question: how cold does our icebox get?
Cold.
It gets really cold. We emptied our icebox and added new groceries yesterday, and we woke up this morning and it was already at 4 degrees Celsius.
So here in the Caribbean, the water is right at about 27 degrees Celsius or 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And the manufacturer says it'll bring seawater down 25 degrees Celsius. And so that's pretty close. If the seawater is 27 and our fridge is at 4 degrees, that's 23. So that's pretty close. So yeah. It's right on spec with what they say.